If you are based in the UK and would like to enjoy freshly batch roasted coffee delivered to your door, visit vitalcoffee.co.uk and use the coupon code Mr. Freaky Story to get 10% off on all products. My personal favorite is a blend called Casa, which helps me stay focused during my recordings. I will leave a link in the description below. Hi, my name is Jared, and I don't know what to do. If I should call the police or what. Here, let me explain. I'm 21 and still living with my parents. I know you're probably thinking I'm lame, but I don't have to pay bills, so it's a win. Anyways, back to the story. We ended up getting a call that my Uncle Jimmy ended up dying from the cancer he had. My dad was heartbroken because him and my uncle were close growing up, but he tried to act tough and not show it. But me and my mum knew he was heartbroken, so we went over to my uncle's house to collect anything memorable. My grandparents were also there, and my grandma couldn't hold back tears. Seeing pictures of him, she started sobbing all over. And I couldn't blame her. Having your son die must be tough. I ended up finding some of Uncle Jimmy's old clown collection. Yeah, my uncle loved clowns. My dad told me my uncle used to love going to the circus to see the clowns. He would go searching for clowns every Halloween. I also found the old killer clowns from Outer Space movie. Me and my uncle used to watch when I was younger. It always scared me. Then I found a little chest and had flashbacks of when my uncle used to tell me never to touch it. I used to always wonder what was in it. So I looked around and found the key. I quickly unlocked it, wondering what secrets it contained. And what I found was a clown nose and a diary that was dusty. I blew the dust off and opened the book and started reading. Dear Diary, today I start my first day as a clown. I can't wait to see all those little kids' faces and reactions after what I'm gonna do. Can't wait to see their parents' reactions when I'm done with them. I stopped reading. I found it odd because I didn't know Uncle Jimmy was a clown. My parents told me he worked at a bar, so I brought the diary home with me to keep reading it. As soon as I got back, I started reading it immediately. I decided to skip a few pages, and then I found a page that caught my eye. This entry said, "Today I found my first kid. He was 6, and his name was Johnny. He told me he was being bullied, so I told him that he should play with me in the woods. But he told me his mummy told him not to talk to strangers. But after getting him to come in the woods and play by offering candy, it worked. I told Johnny we should play hide and seek." I stopped reading. Uncle Jimmy wasn't a birthday clown. He was in the woods, waiting to find little kids playing. I was hoping he wasn't in a clown cult or a pedophile. I went back to reading. I told little Johnny to hide, and I would start finding him after I counted to 10. I went looking for little Johnny. It wasn't that hard because he started giggling. And when I found him behind a tree, I yelled, "I found you!" He started giggling more, so I told him to cover his eyes. As he did this, I reached into my pocket and pulled out my knife and started stabbing the little bastard. I quickly threw the book in shock, not knowing what to think. What the hell? My uncle murdered a kid. I got sick and ran to the bathroom to puke. My mum came in to see if I was all right. I brushed it off, claiming that I had ate bad food, and I went back to my room. I was scared to read further, but I built up enough courage to do so. I flipped through some pages and stopped on one that said, "Today I met a boy named Jack. He was different from the other kids, not so happy and energetic. He was more fascinated with his Spider-Man action figure, so I took action quickly and stabbed him to death. After, I picked his Spider-Man action figure because I thought I should give this to my nephew Jared. I was going to give him a piggy bank, but he loved superheroes. So I discarded the body and brought the action figure home, cleaned the blood off of it, and when I gave it to him, he was so happy. I stopped and remembered when he gave me that Spider-Man action figure. I went searching through my room and found it. Picking it up, I couldn't believe this belonged to one of my uncle's victims, so I threw it out. Just thinking about it made me sick. I went back to reading the diary. I went straight to the last page. It said, "I'm dying. My cancer is getting worse. The doctors don't know how long I have left to live. So this will be my last time writing and my last page. I do not feel like getting another diary." I buried the old clown uniform, but I'm gonna keep the nose in the chest with the diary. Can't believe I went this long without the police figuring out it was me. But if anyone finds this diary, I'll be long gone by then. If I want anyone to find this diary, I hope it's Jared. He was always my favorite. Hope you enjoy the clown nose, and goodbye. I slammed the diary shut. I can't believe this. It's been a week now. I haven't told my parents or contacted the police. I don't know what to do. I recently graduated from college and was looking for a teaching job. I was getting worried because nobody wanted to hire me. But then I got a call. "Hello, Mr. White. I was calling to let you know you got the job at Northside Elementary. Odd. I don't remember replying there. Never mind, I thought. I responded by thanking him. He replied, "No problem. You'll be starting Monday." I couldn't believe I finally got a job. Monday rolled around, and when I put the address in my GPS, I realized that the school was far out in the woods. I found this odd, but proceeded anyway. As I approached the front door, a man was sitting there with a shotgun, and the door had a lock on it. There were so many red flags at this point. "Who are you?" he said. I was startled. "I'm Paul White." He looked down at his paper and looked back at me. "New guy," he said, pulling out a key and unlocking the door. "Are you a guard to keep students safe?" He looked at me with cold, dead eyes. "Sure, you can say that." And as I went in, he said, "Good luck, you'll need it," and slammed the door. Although I found this strange, I decided to go straight to the principal's office. As I went in, I noticed he was wearing a mask that looked like it was from the Purge movie. "Hello, Mr. White. Please sit down and please put this mask on." I did as he requested and put the mask on. "Welcome to Northside Elementary. You must follow the rules and wear the mask and don't ask questions. Got it?" I was confused but replied, "Got it." "Good. Your pay will be $50 an hour. You will have an agenda with what you're supposed to do, and every time the bell rings, you'll teach them their new subject. Got it?" Yes, sure." "Good. Your class is class 3. You have 4 students." I thanked him and walked out going to class 3. There were only 4 classrooms, and one was a cooking room. But I paid no attention. It was a small school. When I went in, the kids were also wearing those masks. "Hello, I'm Mr. White." There were no replies, so I sat down and looked at the agenda. First thing I noticed on the agenda was hunting. I was confused. This was supposed to be an elementary school, but I went along and said, "Pull out your hunting stuff." The kids all pulled out bear traps. What the fuck, I thought. And the students said, "You're supposed to turn on the hunting video showing us what to do." I asked them where, and then they pointed at the TV. I rolled it over and put the tape in that said hunting, and played a demonstration video about what to do when hunting. I didn't know what kind of elementary school this was for. And after a while, the bell rang, so I stopped the video and looked at the next agenda, which said cooking. I brought them to the cooking room, and when I opened the door, it smelled like something was rotting in there. The students walked in and sat down, and there were flies everywhere. I asked the students if it always smelt like this, and they told me yes. And when I asked where the food was, they pointed at the chest freezer. I went over trying to open it, but it was locked. One of the students told me the key was hanging on the door. I went over and grabbed the key, and when I unlocked the freezer, an awful smell blasted me in the face. I almost threw up. When I looked back down, I saw a young lady laying there, lifeless. She had parts of her skin cut off. Then over the loudspeaker, it said, "Mr. White, please come to the principal's office if you know what's good for you." I quickly shut the freezer door and ran to the principal's office. "Mr. White, please sit down." Why the fuck is a body in the motherfucking freezer? What kind of school is this? "Please sit down, and I'll explain." I sat down and waited to see what he had to say. "At Northside Elementary, we teach our students about, cannibalism, like how to hunt, cook, and everything." I was shocked. "What the hell?" I replied. "Do the parents even know?" "Yes, they are also cannibals. We are all cannibals here. And who you found was the old teacher who used to teach your class, Miss Elizabeth." I didn't even know what to say. Miss Elizabeth was a young teacher looking for a job, so we found her and hired her like you, but she threatened to call the police when she found out. So I raped and killed her. And now we use her for cooking class. I didn't know what to say or do. I thought of calling the police when he said, "I advise you do as I say unless you want to be like Miss Elizabeth. Now run along back to class, Mr. White. Your students are waiting." I got up and left and walked slowly back to my students. They were sitting there quietly when I walked in. I didn't even say anything to them and went right over to the freezer, opening it, looking back down at the body. That poor soul, so young and full of life, ruined by these bastards. The bell rang, so I closed the freezer, locked it, and brought the students back to our class. I picked up my agenda to see what was next, and it was just art. I told my class to get the art supplies and just paint. At this point, I didn't even care what they did. I didn't know what to do, because if I tried to stop them, I would be murdered and probably be locked in that freezer too. But at the same time, I couldn't let them get away with this. After a while, the bell rang, and the next thing on my agenda was lunch. I told the class, and they pulled out their lunch bags. I can't even tell you how fucked up it was that they were pulling out human organs and started eating them. I wanted to puke, but I couldn't take it anymore. I ripped my mask off, got up and yelled, and started yelling, "Screw this school." The loudspeaker came on and said, "Mr. White, Put the mask back on and sit down. I just yelled, "Fuck this school, I'm out!" and ran out. I slammed on the front door. The guard opened it. I just pushed him over and ran to my car. I got inside and started it and got the hell out. I didn't even look back. I went straight to the police station and told them everything. The police went to the school, and when they came back, they put me in a room and asked how many bodies I found. I told them only one. They said when they got there, they found multiple dead bodies of students and 2 teachers. They said they were all wearing masks, and the students were all shot, and then the teachers took their lives. A guard had tried to fight them, but they were able to tase him and arrest him. I asked about the woman in the freezer. They told me she was missing for weeks, and they had no clues or anything where she went until now. But when I asked about the principal, they said he got away, but the police are after him. The police did try to cover up the whole incident, making it look like nothing happened, and burned the school down so it wasn't in the paper or on the news. It's been about 2 weeks now. My life's been getting back to normal. But last night, a man was outside my house watching me. And when he realized I saw him, he ran away. In my heart, I already knew it's the fucked up principal. All I gotta say is if he sees this, just know I'm ready and waiting for the next time he comes to my house. Hello, my name is Ryan, and what I'm about to tell you is something that happened when I was dating a girl online. You see, I'm a college athlete. I play baseball, and I'm pretty good at it. Anyway, back to the story. I don't have a lot of friends. It's mostly just going to classes and practice. I don't usually talk to a lot of people. Whenever I do, it's when I'm chatting with a teammate. One day, when I was scrolling through TikTok, I got a notification at the top of my phone. Someone added me as a friend on Snapchat. I checked their name. It was Sasha. Okay, I thought, and accepted the friend request. I instantly got a reply. It said, "Hi there, my name's Sasha. You probably don't know me, but I think you're a great baseball player, and I kinda have a crush on you." I was shocked and replied, "Thanks, it's nice to be talking to a fan." I was surprised that I had a fan, plus she had a crush on me. I then asked if she could send me a picture of herself. She didn't reply for a while, but then she said, "Maybe some other day. I'm not too comfortable doing it right now." I was a little surprised, thinking maybe she's hiding something, but I brushed it off. After talking for a while, I told her I was going to bed. But that night, I couldn't sleep because it felt like someone was watching me. The next day after practice, I went back to my dorm room, and when I went on Instagram, I saw that Sasha started following me. so I followed her back. And when I went to check out her profile, it was just darkness, and she had no pictures. I went back onto Snapchat to talk to her. "Hey, Sasha, I'm finally finished with practice, so maybe if you want to come over, I'll tell you where my dorm is." After a while of waiting, she replied, "Okay, I will be there in 10 minutes. I was happy, but realized I didn't tell her where my dorm was. "Wait, don't you need me to tell you where I am?" She didn't reply, and after a while of waiting, I looked out my window and saw a van. 2 guys wearing a mask got out and came walking up. I was confused, and after a while, I got a message on my phone. It was a picture of my dorm door. As I was about to reply to the message, I got a knock. I asked, "Sasha, is that you?" But I got no reply back. Then I got a message on my phone. "It's me, open up." But I knew better. I got more knocking, and then I got a message again. "Open the fuck up." I just sat there not moving. Then the knocking turned to slams. Then I heard a guy's voice yell, "Open the fuck up now." I then called the police. I told the operator what was happening, and then she waited on the other end with me, telling me what to do until the police showed up. Once the police showed, I saw the van outside drive off, while the other 2 guys were arguing on the other side. When the police came up, I heard shouting on the other side of my door. Then I heard some struggling. It went silent, and then shortly after, I heard some knocking. "It's the police!" I quickly opened up and saw an officer standing. He told me they ended up catching the 2 guys. I showed them the messages, and they told me they would get back to me once they got answers. My life went back to normal until 2 days ago, when the police showed up to my dorm room. They told me that the people I was messaging with were apparently trying to sell my organs on the dark web. I'm just happy I called the police when I did. It just goes to show you can't trust anybody on the internet. Hello there, my name is Tony. This story I'm going to tell you happened when I was 14. I was coming home from school, and when I went to my room, I noticed something on my wall. It was a painting of a woman next to a man and a child that looked to be 6. I went to ask my mum what it was doing in my room, and she said she painted it and thought it would make my room look better. I argued with her, but she insisted. That night when I was sleeping, I had a weird dream where a woman was crying and holding a bloody knife. I woke up sweating, and when I looked around, I noticed something funny. The painting had changed. The man was missing. It was just the woman and the kid. That morning I told my mother, but she didn't believe me. At school, I didn't tell my friends because I didn't think they would believe me. When I got home, I looked at the painting again. This time, the boy was crying. The woman's smile was even bigger. I was terrified. That night, I kept an eye on the painting, but after a while, I grew tired and fell unconscious. I had the same dream of the woman with the knife, but this time, she was laughing and covered in blood. When I woke up, I looked over at the painting and I noticed that the boy was gone. After that, I put the painting in the attic and didn't tell my mother why, and everything went back to normal. I am now 28 and married. I moved out and far away and forgot all about the painting until I got a call telling me my mother died from natural causes. I went back to the house. I haven't been there for years. Ever since I moved, and when I went back inside, a chill went down my spine. I then remembered the painting and went to check the attic. It wasn't there. I went to my mum's room and saw it on the wall, and the lady had disappeared. When I pulled the painting off the wall, a paper fell from behind it. I picked it up and it read, "I am free." I was confused and threw the paper out. I then had a vision of that lady in my dream, saying, "Your wife is next." I quickly pulled my phone out and called my wife. "Hello, Tony, is everything all right?" She sounded all right. "Yeah, just checking in." I heard someone talking in the background. "Who's there?" My wife replied, "Oh, just someone who says she's an old friend of yours." I was confused. "Can you put her on?" When I heard her voice, I froze. I knew it was the lady from my dreams. And I knew that when she said, "Hello, Tony. I killed your mother. Your wife is next." I just stood there frozen as I heard my wife screaming, and then the phone disconnected. I quickly got in my car and rushed back home. When I got home, I saw cop cars outside. They told me my neighbors had complained that they had heard screaming from my house, and when they got here, they saw it was trashed. I asked about my wife, and they said she wasn't there. I rushed inside, and all my stuff was trashed. Then, I noticed one thing. A painting I saw hanging there. When I got closer, I noticed it was the painting. The only thing is that the lady was different. It looked like my wife, and next to her was my mum. And they had creepy smiles. That's when I heard a voice whisper in my ear, "You're next." Now, every night I lay there, waiting for her to return.